Betty, are you okay? My dog just winked at me. This book channel's weird. Hello. Hi. How are you? I'm good. Thanks. So there are a couple of rites of passage that I feel like every booktuber has to go through before they can officially call themselves a booktuber. One of those things is undoubtedly creating your own TBR game, which I've done, doing a monthly wrap up, which I've done. The other two are either participate in a readathon or do a vlog / book haul. Mother's Day was about a week ago, and I treated myself as a mom. I went to 2 different bookstores on Mother's Day, and I am gonna show you what I got. I'm very excited. This is my first book haul ever. I also took some footage of the different bookstores that I went to. And I have to say, I empathize with other booktubers now who complain about going into bookstores and having to film. It is very, very weird. And you feel self-conscious the whole time. I get it now. So with that said, let me show you some footage of the first bookstore I went to. For the first bookstore I went to, I only picked up 3 books, and they were copies of books that I've been kind of having my eye on for a while now. The first book that I found that I just knew that I had to get was Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I love reading weird stuff, and I have been told that not only is the story really weird, but also the way that it's told is also very unconventional and odd. This book is about a person, I don't even know what their gender is, but it's a person who lives in a building, a house that is never ending. So this book is essentially the logs, the observation logs of the main character as they log the house, and they figure out how big the house is, what little gems and like hidden treasures the house has to offer. I know that there are other characters that are odd, just like the main character, but I really want to go into this book not knowing really what's going on. I just know that it is a weird main character in a weird situation, and then there are other odd characters that come in and out. I'm sold. Like, that sounds like a great time. I can't wait. This is going to be a lot of fun. Last year, I picked up The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. And I have a hot take on The Bell Jar. Didn't like it. Didn't care for it at all. I have a lot to say. About The Bell Jar. But what I will say is that Sylvia Plath knows how to write a sentence. She is one of those people that undeniably is gifted at putting words on paper and saying really beautiful things. So with that said, I picked up Ariel by Sylvia Plath. I am genuinely really excited to read this poetry collection. I didn't care for The Bell Jar, but I think Sylvia Plath is objectively a great writer. So I'm really excited to give her another shot, and I really hope that I like it. The last thing that I picked up at the first bookstore I went to was The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is one of the books that is on my 22 books to read in 2022. I adore Ta-Nehisi Coates. He is an excellent writer. Generally speaking, The Bell Jar aside, I genuinely really do love to read novels that are written by poets. And Ta-Nehisi Coates is definitely a poet at heart. The second bookstore was the complete opposite. The first book that I bought was Misery by Stephen King. I think out of all of the Stephen King novels, I'm most excited to read Misery because I am intrigued that the main character, the main villain of the novel, is a woman. If you don't know what Misery is about, it is about a author who kills off his main character, and he goes on a trip, he goes on a vacation afterward. He gets stranded in the middle of nowhere, and he happens upon this woman's house, and this woman is his biggest fan. And this fan is very angry that this author killed her favorite character. I am pretty sure it gets very violent and gory. As far as I know, this doesn't have any fantastical elements in it like some of other King's novels. I think this is just straight up like a horror novel about the horrific things that human beings do to each other. I think. I don't know. I've never read a Stephen King novel before, and I feel like if I'm going to read one, this is probably going to be it, because to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not really interested in reading any of this other books. We'll see. We'll see if I like it. Maybe I'll do it as like a buddy read with my best friend. I don't know. The second book that I picked up is a middle grade classic that I've just honestly never read before, which is crazy because, fun fact about me, I actually took ASL in college. I took ASL 1, ASL 2. So with that said, I picked up El Deafo by C.C. Bell. At the end of the day, this is a book about a deaf girl seeking acceptance and love from her peers and her family. I also think it's really cool that all of the characters are illustrated as rabbits. I also picked up The Autobiography of a Transgender Scientist by Ben Bars. This is about a transgender scientist, as you can probably tell by the title, who transitioned while he was in graduate school. Being a man in STEM is very different than being a woman in STEM. And he talks about how much of a different experience he had when he transitioned from being recognized as a woman to who he truly was as a man. He completed the book shortly before he died of pancreatic cancer. So I wonder if a discussion about grief or death is also going to be a part of the book. This is definitely a nonfiction book that I'm going to be very excited to put on to my TBR. Hopefully I get a nonfiction space sometime this summer and I can pick it up. And then I was very excited to see that they had new copies of Olivia Waite. Olivia Waite is a bisexual author who writes queer romances and specifically writes them set in historical spaces, which is very interesting. I have no idea what this is about besides it being a historical sapphic romance. But at the end of the day, what else do I need to know that this is something that I'm going to gobble up and enjoy? And I also picked up A Little Light Mischief by Cat Sebastian. I love Cat Sebastian's books. This will be a really quick, short read. I'm delighted to be able to pick it up. And yeah, I'm so excited. Let's just keep the romance going. I picked up another romance novel, and I picked up Bombshell by Sarah MacLean. I am a romance reader because of Sarah MacLean. Just like the other ones, I literally have no idea what this is about, but I don't care because it's a Sarah MacLean book and the back just looks great. So that's it. That's all. That's all I need to know. This was a great Mother's Day gift to myself. I have to say, I wish everyone gave their moms a steamy romance novel on Mother's Day. I feel like that would make Mother's Day the best. What do we think? Sound off in the comments. I also got Dry by Neil and Jared Schusterman. This dystopian novel really answers the question of what would happen if there was no more water in California. Specifically, this book looks at a suburb. I don't know if it's in northern, central, southern California. I'm not really sure, but it looks at a suburb and there's a young girl who is the main character. Her parents go missing and then she has to take care of her brother and also deal with their crazy neighbors who are, I think, like killing themselves and others over the lack of water. It doesn't sound like a fun read in the same way that this, it doesn't sound like a fun read in the same way that, you know, this sounds like a fun read for me, but I feel like this book will resonate with me on a level that it honestly wouldn't with some other people, because I grew up in California. I was a young kid during one of the worst droughts in California history. I am very familiar with the fear of being without water. I don't know. I thought the cover was so cool. The premise sounds so cool. And being a California girl, I just think this is gonna be a home run for me. We'll see. I also was a good mom and picked up a present for my child. And I got them Keeping the City Going by Brian Floca. This book is really just a love letter and a big giant thank you to all of the essential workers that still had to work during the COVID-19 pandemic. I actually already read this with my child. I gave it 4 stars. Last but not least, I know this is a weird thing to add to my book haul, but I bought it. I bought it. I'm the same. I bought this a guide on foraging. Let me explain. So I actually have written a couple chapters of a book. I don't know if I'll ever publish it. I need to actually get on it and continue writing. But the main character that I have in my book is a forager. I would like to learn more about foraging, how it works, so that I can write a really accurate portrayal of my main character. I also honestly am just really interested in the idea of foraging as a whole. I don't know, it's very simple. It's just, I don't even know why the used bookstore had these, but they did. They had like 5 of these. And so I just picked them up. Maybe I'll use it as a nonfiction prompt in my TBR game. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this is the last thing I picked up. Here it is. This is my haul. Happy Mother's Day to me. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Go buy a steamy romance novel. You deserve it. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had a good time. If you're interested, subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave me a comment. Let me know if I should read any other Stephen King novels. I probably won't. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have a great day. Bye.